Trust Yahuwah and verify. Truth is verified. Hold it up to the light. Guarding my gates inside. Test all things. Prove all things. If it be your will, then reveal all things. They say trust, but verify. Scares go still. Truth is verified. Lay down my pride. Test all things. Hold it up till I approve all things. Bring me back to right, safe inside. Trust Yahuwah and verify. Truth is verified. Hold it up to the light. Guarding my gates inside. Test all things. Prove all things. If it be your will, then reveal all things. Then reveal all. Not every voice is clean. Not every door is true. I want a steady heart that only leans on you. If it turns from Torah, if it burns with peace, Ruah stay within me. Let the false things leave. Holding up to you. Every word I hear, every thought that I feel, filter out from inside. Only I feel. Trust Yahuwah and verify. Truth is verified. Hold it up to the light. Guarding my gates inside. Test all things. Prove all things. If it be your will, then reveal all things. Guarding my gates inside. Trust Yahuwah and verify. Just all things trust. Yahusha first. It's a must. Danger before you. Malaklapatika. 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 Danger before under some rock out there. Because my life is in a twirl like a lock of hair, twisted in everywhere. Drop everything that matters not. I fought hard, oh I fought so hard. Gave it my best shot. Gather all my stress inside, drop it in a pot, and just turn the fire up, all the way up, and just boil it all away. Take it all away, I'm all out of play. So lay me back in the water, let it flow over me. Living waters flowing so gently, Yahusha. Use your hands and move these waters for me. Squeeze my nose, hold my breath, lay me back, bring me up, renewed. Now I'm back on track. Living waters flowing so gently, Yahusha. Use your hands and move these waters for me. Squeeze my nose, hold my breath, lay me back, bring me up, renewed. Under the water, moving waters. Yahuwah, move these waters for me. As long as my mouth can say the word Yahuwah, my allure, Baruch these waters around me. I'm on my way to a new life. I'm coming to you covered in sin. Never again trust what the world betrays, and all of the attention that it likes to pay. As long as I have Yahusha covering me, looking out for me, watching over me, I can't be defeated. No weapon against me shall prosper. Your name is written across my heart, and I will not mistreat it. As I disappear under these waters, living waters, flowing waters, wash off my sins. If I had a wish, it would be to immerse my family and friends. Living waters, flowing so gently, Yahusha. Use your hands and move these waters for me. Squeeze my nose, hold my breath, take me back, bring me up, renewed. Now I'm back on track, put me under the water, moving waters. Yahuwah, move these waters for me. Moving waters, flowing so gently, Yahusha. Use your hands and move these waters for me. Squeeze my nose, hold my breath, take me back, bring me up, renew. Now I'm back on track.
Shabbat Shalom Mishpachah. For those of you who wanted to know, the song is called Living Waters by our Ak Patitiyahu, Aki Patrick. Those are his words. That's his song. It's available on our website. I believe it is. Under songs, if you go to the heading of ambassadorsofyah.com and look at the tabs at the top, you'll see the 3 dots on the right hand side. Scroll down to where it says songs, and you'll see a list of many songs there from the Mishpachah. Our Cody Nazareth makes songs. Our Cody Alexis Washington makes songs. I myself, Aki Patitiyahu, and the list is growing. It's growing. And but yes, that is a beautiful one. Living Waters. Yes, it's on Suno. That's right. Okay, and it is on the website. Okay, Tudata Aki Chris. That's our webmaster there, Aki Chris Yahoo. Yes, that song is Yappa. It is. It's really beautiful. A lot of our Mishpachah, they make some Yappa music for the most part, right? Okay, so I received something here. Let me look at this. Give me a second. So let me go to my inbox. Stacy. Cody Stacy, you sent me something here. It says that there is please address this matter Let me see what this is. Give me a second, all of you. Okay, I had to put my phone on, I had to put the mute on because I didn't know what I was going to be listening to, so I didn't want to just be broadcasting it. So I'll have to deal with that later. I just wanted to see what that was about. I thought it might have been something that I need to address at this point, but being that today is Shabbat, we're going to keep this all about Abba Yahuwah. Okay, there was something else that I wanted to share with all of you. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see. I did that one already. Not going to do that one today. Not that one. Nope, not that one either. Okay. Let's see. Any comments or questions? Excuse me. Had to clear my throat. Look like we got some rain that might be getting ready to crack the sky. Any comments or questions? Or any concerns? And let us remember that today is Shabbat, so let us be mindful of what we're sharing and what we're speaking about. Aki Hector, I know you sent me a whole bunch of text messages, and I was asking people, please don't text me while I'm on my phone, that is directly while I'm on a live, because unless it's something that is important, and I'm talking about important, what is your question, Aki? You can bring it here before the Mishpachah, and I'm sure we'll all be able to help you. Is it okay to throw out a fleece before the Most High, and would he allow the enemy to answer it if we do? Refining the fire, I'm not quite understanding your question. Are you talking about the fleece, like how was it Gideon who did that, where he would put out the fleece and he would tell Abba Yahuwah to only allow the fleece to be wet and not the ground, and then vice versa, may the ground be wet but not the fleece? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, Gideon's fleece. That's what I thought you was talking about. You know, I mean, do we test Abba Yahuwah like that, as Gideon did during his time? I think there's a purpose for it when that was to happen, why it's written down in the Tanakh. But for us to be doing it, I mean, there has to be a reason. We're just not going to, test him to see, like, hey, I want to see if you're actually going to do this for me. We don't do that. Yes, Cody. Evelyn, Shabbat Shalom, Cody. Yes, I've been hearing about the water rationing over in Puerto Rico. Yes, are refined in the fire. Now I understand what I mean. Again, we all read it in Gideon, or we all read it about Gideon. Yes, it was direction, but again, I'm saying I don't know what the purpose is. You're asking, is it okay to do that? I mean, I'm sure it is, but again, what is the purpose of you wanting to do that? Is why I said what I said. It's not to say that you can't. I mean, anyone can do what they want. Now, is Abba Yahuwah going to, is he going to answer you? That is to be determined. You know, that's going to be determined up to him if he's going to answer you or not. I personally, things that I see when it comes to stuff like that, I mean, it'd be like somebody saying, well, Masha, is it okay to strike a rock so that water may flow out of it? Well, there was a purpose for that. Why Abba Yahuwah told Masha to do what he did, you know, to speak to the rock. And then when she smited it, the water would come out of it. And it's like that with all the miracles in scripture. You know, there was purpose behind each one of those miracles. So unless there was a reason for Abba Yahuwah to do that in your life, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't purposely do something like that before Abba Yahuwah unless he told me to do that, you know, to show me that, like, okay, how do you want me to show you that I'm the one? You know, because we're going to test spirits, right? When you're dealing with something that's supernatural, I think that's the time when you need a supernatural answer. We don't want to do something that's easy and ask Abba Yahuwah, I really need to know, Abba, if this is your voice that I'm hearing. Yeah? Because we know, I mean, we've all heard people say that, well, I heard a voice and God told me to unalive my children so that they can come home to him. Now, for those of us who know the truth, we're going to test that voice. Abba Yahuwah, if this is truly you, make this happen, right? So if you're physically, audibly hearing a voice in your head, and you need to test that spirit because it's giving you commands to do such and such, this is when you need a supernatural answer, because supernaturally something is happening. And you don't want something to where you're just saying something that it could be a fluke and say, oh, this is God talking to me, you know. I hope nobody's hearing voices, Richard. I hope nobody is. I'm just using that as an example. I mean, I've had, I know I have a family member in my family, my little niece, and she hears voices. I know that she is also possessed by a demon, more than one, actually. She's actually confessed it. And here's the thing. So while we're talking about this, nowhere in scripture do you find anyone going around doing spiritual warfare. This is a modern day teaching, especially amongst the youth and people who are in charismatic, non-denominational assemblies, where this has taken fire since, I would have to say, since the early 2000s. You got people talking about spiritual warfare this, and the Marine Kingdom this, and the Marine Kingdom that, and, you know, this stuff. If you want to play around and you want to be talking to evil and wicked spirits because you're over here doing so-called spiritual warfare, you're going to have problems. These demons will jump on you. That's what happened to my niece. She clicked up with these other sisters online, and they were all talking about, they denounced this, and I rebuke you this and that, and, you know, pleading the blood of JC, although they were using the name Yahusha, pleading the blood of Yahusha over this and Yahusha over that. And these are things that that's not what Abba Yahuwah, that's not our purpose that Abba Yahuwah has created us for. The spiritual warfare is left to the angels. That is not for us. Abba Yahuwah will send out his angels on our behalf. This is what we pull off for, right? We ask Abba Yahuwah to take control of these things on our behalf. Jeremiah 17, let's go there. Verse 13. Jeremiah 17:13. Is this the passage that you wanted me to read here? Peace be still. Yirmiyahu 17:13. Okay, let's read it. O Yahuwah, the expectation of Yasharah, all who forsake you are to put to shame. Those who depart from me shall be written in the earth, because they have forsaken Yahuwah, the fountain of living waters. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Yes. Yes, he is our living water. And he says, out of our belly shall flow rivers of living water. Yeah. Okay, let's keep it going. What else? Anybody want to ask something? Questions, comments? Humbled Priest King says, be planted on the banks of the living waters. Hallelujah. Yahuwah. Yes, firmly planted. Indeed. Indeed. $104.19. We already went over that one. That's why you put LOL, huh? Great to see you here, Aki. Shabbat Shalom. Earlier, I did see somebody asking me, I think it was, who was that? Aki Luis and Betty Rodriguez asking if I was still going to make my way down to the south. Right now, everything is on hold. Any movement that I'm doing, because I don't know exactly what Abba Yahuwah has for us coming up in the near future. Same thing, how do I say that? Kanaya, I hope I said your name right. Have you made a final decision on Feast of Tabernacles this year? Yeah, that is on hold as well. I don't know what it is, but I'm just feeling it in my ruach that I'm not to have any kind of assembly right now, as opposed to where, as it is to people leaving their domain to travel out of state for an ample amount of days, like the Feast of Tabernacles, where we would be camping and something is to go down and people are far from their homes and are not ready. So, like I said, I've just been feeling this lately, that we need to stay put where we're at. That is not to say that, those of you who want to get together, who live in your neck of the woods, and you have other mishpachah that want to come together and celebrate feast days, yeah, I think that would be the best way to do it. But as far as leaving town and going to another city or another area, right now, I don't think that's smart on our end to do this, because we're seeing the signs, we're seeing the things that have been spoken of, and the Feast of Sukkot might come and go, and nothing substantial has happened. That's okay. We're gonna side on precautionary measures than to be in error, and I just don't want anyone to be caught off guard, including myself. So we need to be very vigilant right now. Very vigilant. Yes, Simone, I did see Hector say he needs help. But again, I'm asking Hector to share what he needs help with here. Again, You know, when I'm on these lives and somebody is trying to get a hold of me on my phone, it's not going to happen on a Shabbat. It's just not going to happen. Okay. For one, I'm doing what Abba Yahuwah wants me to do at this point, and I cannot put all of that on hold because we have a personal issue that's going on in our life. There's nothing personal here. It has nothing to do with anybody personally. I'm making sure that I'm doing what Abba Yahuwah has called me. No distractions. And this is why I tell others, you know, if I have the opportunity, I would reach out to you later. There is, like right now, let me show you this, because I don't think some of you know, like, look at this right here. You see how many emails I have here? 4,476 emails. You think I answered all of those? I'm just a mere person. I can't handle all of that. You know, I try to answer as many as I can. Those that catch my eye, I try to get to them, but I just can't do all of that. And that's just on my email. I'm not even going into what I have on TikTok. TikTok is in the thousands as well. And sometimes when I go there into my open, or what do you call it, my inbox, and I just see 6 here, 10 here, 20 here, and I'm like, I can't. There's no way out. There's not enough time in the day for me to answer all of that. And it's nothing personal to anyone. I'm not disrespecting anyone. I just can't get to everybody, you know. And then I have people who want me to phone call them. You know, I got a job to do. I even though I work for myself, sometimes I'm in clients' homes. I can't just be talking in their homes. You know, sometimes they're doing things. I'm in someone else's house. I can't speak freely until I get an opportunity. And then there's times when I have just, you know, you ever work so much that you just don't feel like talking? I'm just keeping it real. You just don't feel like talking. And the last thing I want to do is get on the phone with someone because I'm not in the right mood to talk. And that's the last thing I want to do, especially to the Mishpachah, because I love the Mishpachah. And so, you know, when I get off work or whatever and I feel the way I feel, I know how I am. And so I will stay clear of any communication until I'm in a better headspace, or I feel refreshed, or where I can give the person my full attention and not be divided all over the place because I'm still doing this or I'm getting that done or whatever. And that's not fair to you, and it's not cool for me to do that. So this is why, like, when I had to take that, and I only took a week off, right? Remember when I took the week off, that little sabbatical that I took, and it was only because I've been at this for Abba Yahuwah, and as many of you know, this is my happy space, right? This is my happy place when I'm here, when I'm doing this right now with the Mishpachah. The last thing I want is something that I love doing turn into a job that I don't like. I want to keep what Abba Yahuwah has given me because I've always loved to speak His truth. That's where I feel so happy. This is I want to be before Him every day, all day, but I can't. You know, we got to work, we got to eat, we got to sleep. But when I'm in this mode right now, at this very moment, this is it. Until He comes and cracks the sky, this is it. Or to speak about the truth to a group of a room full of people. That's it. That's what I want to do. I want to be about spreading His truth. That's it. You know, and but there's a time when you just physically and mentally have to take a break. The body is weak, and going at this for 3 years without skipping a beat, every Shabbat, and other lives that we do, you know, those are things that I want to do. I want to continue to see Abba Yahuwah grow the body and open up other people's eyes. And then when you have issues that occur, because it's going to happen, you're going to have issues, in any kind of, and I don't like to use the word ministry, but I don't know no other word to use, any kind of service, any serving, when you're serving others, there's going to be some negative things that's going to come at you. Even though you mean everything in a positive light, everything that you want to do, you're giving nothing but love, but there's always going to be, and it never fails, you're going to have the naysayers, you're going to have these negative people, you're going to have haters, you're going to have people who want to thwart what you're doing, and that starts to take a toll. And then on top of that, you find yourself doing things that you didn't even know that Abba Yahuwah was going to use you to do that. So like case in point, you know, somebody has a personal issue. You know, when I started sharing here on YouTube and actually on TikTok, which is where I started, it was just to share posts. It was never about getting into people's personal lives and their issues and what is bothering them, or the demons that they're being attacked by. And, you know, you don't think about all that stuff when it comes to, you just want to share the word. But that comes with the territory, right? People losing homes and or people who lost jobs, or people who are homeless, or all these things, and they're reaching out to you. Aki, can you help? Aki, do you have this? You know, can you do this? Can you do that? And again, that's what we're here for. We're here to serve each other. We're here to help one another if it's within our means, right? And when all of this gets compiled on you, it can take a toll. What you found so wonderful and joyful and gladful and gleeful, it takes a toll. And me personally, I don't want to lose that side of the happiness that I get from Abba Yahuwah. I don't want it to change my character, you know? And so that's why I had to take that 1 week off just to clear my mind. You know, of course, when I say week off, I'm not taking a week off from Yahuwah. I can't leave his presence. He's ever present. My walk still, I'm with him 24/7. It's just breathing. Because I come into this truth like many of you. This is my everyday. As long as I'm awake, I'm about Abba Yahuwah. But when other people's walk are now part of, I can't say my walk, but they intermingle. Their walk and my walk intermingle. Like all of us, we all have, we're coming together. We're meshing as that order, like what we read in the book of Eliyahu, the writings of Eliyahu, of Elijah. You know, we start to carry each other's burdens, right? And it feels great when you're helping someone, you know? I think the part that bothers me is when you help someone and it seems like they're not grateful, or you don't hear from them anymore, or you feel like you've been taken advantage of, or they got what they wanted out of you or out of the mishpachah, and now they're gone. They're ghosts. They're nowhere. And you're like, wow. Was that what it was all about? You're only left to assume because you're not in contact with the person, right? So you just have to leave that alone and just let Abba Yahuwah do what he's going to do with some of these people, you know. But no love lost. It just kind of shows me where their heart is, and that's unfortunate, you know. If they was to walk up to my door at this very moment, I would still love that person. No love lost, right? But that's how it feels sometimes. You just feel like someone just took advantage of you. And you're like, man, and then you feel bad at the same time, like to the mishpachah, to all of you. Some of you have opened up your hard-earned money to help others in their time of need, as we should. But when the person who we given it to, and you know, we got our reward coming, that's not lost. But what is lost is the relationship with the person. The person has just said, oh, well, I got what I needed, I'm out. And that doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel great. If a family member does it, or if the mishpachah, who should know better, does it, it just doesn't feel great. And I know all of you know what I'm talking about, because we've all experienced it. We've all experienced it. Let's see. Okay. Well, Cody Victoriahu, and Shabbat Shalom to you, Cody. It's not so much that you hurt for me or anything like that. And again, it's not a woe is me, if I could say it that way. And I appreciate your sentiments of what you're saying, or sentiments. I can't even say that right. But I guess I'm exposing that because it's the obvious of things that has happened. When you're wanting to show compassion, and we're not just going to talk that we're mishpachah, we're going to do what we're supposed to be, like what we was reading today, how we are to conduct ourselves, and it's just sad because we're all individuals, we all have a mind of our own, and we can do what we want, and you'll start seeing splintering going on, and it happens. It's just the way it is. They're splintering within that one group of people, and splintering starts happening over time. And there's many myriads of situations of why that happens or occurs. But for us that are walking in this truth, I think the only thing that really keeps me grounded is Abba Yahuwah. That's it. Yes. Yep, I would say that the same, humbled priest king. It is a test of how we deal with one another. Yes. Yeah. And then too, at the same time, I also Aki Hector, you said Shabbat Shalom, Aki, sorry, just trying to tell and show my son this truth. Him and his mother and stepfather, ex-gen pastor, I told him defend your pagan, Jesus. Yes, and Hector, I know, but again, all you can do is plant the seeds, Ak. That's all we can all do. Leave it alone. Let Abba Yahuwah do what he is going to do, because we know that he says his word shall not return unto him void. That is going to go out and do what it was proposed to do. He's proposed it. Either they're going to be saved by the words that have been spoken to them, or they're going to be lost. You know what I mean? We can't lose sleep, if you will, because our family don't see what we see. It's just know your walk. Know that Abba Yahuwah has opened your eyes. And I'm not saying that in a selfish way. I'm saying that you got to stay focused and continue to share with those who want to hear. Remember what we was reading? I don't know if you was with us, Aki Hector, but what we was reading in the writings of Eliyahu, do not waste your time with those who won't receive the truth. Don't waste your time with those who don't want to receive the truth. Because at that point, you're like borderline transgressing his command, because he's telling us, you admonish them twice, shake the dust off your feet, let your shalom return back to you, and walk out. Walk away. Keep your mouth shut. There's a time to speak and there's a time to be silent. I got family members who I do not in any way, any fashion or form, I don't care if something's happening in their town and I know it's scriptural, it's prophetic, I don't say nothing to them unless they come to me about it. Oh, brother, I remember you talked about this and now it's happening. And then I'll say, oh yeah, the word, the Bible, I use that word for them. The Bible, speaks about this or speaks about that. But when I've been received by my own family or friends in a negative way, and I share it again and I get the same response in a negative way, and I do it again and I'm again in a negative way, that's the way I'm received. One of those days, and when it's that time, at least I do, I don't share it anymore. It's like Abba Yahuwah has my mouth clamped shut when it comes to that person. I don't have nothing else to say because I understand that Abba Yahuwah, it's him who does this, not me. His words have been seated in them. And what happens with that, that's up to Abba Yahuwah. Because you see, when the Messiah says, Who are my mothers and who are my brothers and my sisters except those who do the will of my Father? That right there makes it clean cut and pure to me. Just because I was raised in a household with siblings and we've shared a lot of things growing up and we shared the same blood, as I like to say, family is overrated. Family is overrated. And I say that because, as the Messiah says, many of our enemies will be of our own household. And that doesn't, it's not that I hate them or anything like that. I just know, because of the revelation that has been given to us, how to conduct myself with those who have rejected the truth. I still love them. I still embrace them when I see them, when they come to my door, or if I come to their house, I embrace them, showing no difference in my personality, showing no difference in the way I receive them or they receive me. I don't change that unless something has happened between us two that we have to, deal with. But other than that, because you rejected the Basora, the great news, I'm not going to take that personal, because that has nothing to do with me. That has to do with Abba Yahuwah. You rejected him. You didn't reject me. He's going to deal with you, not me. I have nothing to do with that. And it's a hard, as we would say, it's a hard pill to swallow, especially when it's like your children, or your husband or your wife, those that you cherish so much. It's one thing that you cherish your mom and dad. That's a different type of love, right? A different type of care, a different way that you love them. You love them nonetheless, but it's a different type of love. When it comes to your children or your husband or your wife, that is like you. That's you, right? You see yourself in your children. You see yourself in your husband or your wife. It's different than your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister. It's just a different love. And when that is the ones who are not receiving what you're sharing with them, like I get emails, I'm in contact with people within our mishpachah, not naming any names, where the husband is a believer and not the wife, or the wife is a believer and not the husband. Those, and you try to counsel and you want them to not feel so bad, and what they want, because you know what it's like me and my Asha, me and my wife, we're evenly yoked, right? And we both believe in Yahuwah. We know that Abba Yahuwah is the center of our relationship. And I want that for everybody, their husband and wife, right? And for those of you who know me and have met me and my Asha, and have spent time with me and my Asha, you know how we are. We are one. We're one. When I'm with the mishpachah, she's with the mishpachah. But when I see or I hear of my Akis or my Kodis and their husband or their wife isn't on the same page with them, and I see the heartbreak in their eyes, and I see the hurt in their eyes, and I see the turmoil and the chaos that's going on in their home, and how they feel like they're losing their partner because the separation, this division is happening, that the Messiah told us was going to happen. He says, do not think that I have come to bring shalom. I have not come to bring shalom. I came to bring division, a sword. And that is hard, for those of us whose eyes are open. And it's like one of our mishpachah said to me, man, how is it that my eyes are open and my wife's eyes are not? And my children, they see and they praise Abba Yahuwah. But my wife, she's, it's like kryptonite. Every time we say Yahuwah in the house, she gets upset. Or anything to do with Yahuwah, she gets upset. And that is definitely a hard thing to deal with. I can't put myself in their shoes because I'm not in that position. But I would really like to help them in their situation. And all I can tell them is, Aki or Cody, You know how Abba Yahuwah has been patient with us? You got to be patient with your significant other. You got to let Abba Yahuwah do his work. You can't force feed it down their throat. You can't keep pushing it on them because it's going to repel them. It's only going to hurt your relationship if you keep pushing it on them. You got to let them do their thing. And hopefully they'll allow you to do your thing, right? But that does it. It becomes very, very difficult when your significant other, who is your flesh, your husband or wife, you became one flesh with them. It changes up the dynamics of that marriage. And all I can say is continue to palah, fast on behalf of your family, and then maybe Abba Yahuwah will tear that barrier down, remove that veil that's over the heart of those every time they hear the truth and they just can't handle it. Aki Robin over there in Australia. Great to see you, my Ak. Yes, it's been a little while. You say, I miss you, Mishpaka. Been busy with work. I will try to be on TT on the weekend. Yes, yes. Or here on YT as well, right? Yes, Yehukana, it is so true. You know, they might accept the things, pretty much they're tolerating us is what it is, right? They tolerate your new schedule. They tolerate your new belief as they would see it. They're tolerating what you have become, but they don't like it. That would be like me and like many of us. You know, it's like we tolerate homosexuality. We tolerate abortions. We tolerate transgender. We tolerate a lot of this stuff, but I don't like it. It turns my stomach. And that's how these people are with us. Because it's the kingdom of darkness going against the kingdom of light. We're watching it happening right before our very eyes. And some of them are of our own household. But the thing is that we must understand that just because somebody was brought up, and this is what I was saying earlier, just because they've been brought up under the same roof doesn't mean that that's our eternal family. When we understand that, it puts a whole new perspective on what family is. Because you see, we're only looking at it from the flesh, and Abba Yahuwah is looking at everything from the spirit. And that's where our mind is supposed to be, on the spiritual matters. We got a whole bunch of people, large families, DNA-wise, and practically every one of us can probably go back and look at our family, and we're probably the only one, maybe two, but we're probably the only one from the whole history of our family that knows this truth. And that is saying something, especially at this time. It is saying a lot. It's very evident that we are living in the last days. It's very evident that we are the generation. The things that are going on right now on this Arats, it can't go like this another 20 years. I'll tell you that right now. There is no way this is going on for another 20 years. Not with AI technology, not with the wicked and evil men and women on this Arats doing the things that they're doing by taking away the rights of the people. This can't go on too long. We are literally coming to a head. It's like a volcano that's getting ready to erupt, and it's going to go everywhere. Lava is going to be everywhere. Right? You see, only so many of us have what we have, and we're the only ones. Hallelujah. Yahuwah. So our Aki Emmanuel is in the Georgia area. If you live in the southeast, specifically in Georgia, our Aki man, Emmanuel, is there to immerse. If you're interested in getting immersed, please get a hold of our Aki here. He's one of my moderators, Emmanuel Matitiyahu 87. Get a hold of him, and he'll get you immersed. As far as a Cody Wendy, I'm gonna have to get a hold of her and see what's going on. I know that she gets busy, especially on the weekends, and being that today is the first day of the pagan week, as far as working is concerned, they probably have her busy. But and she might be listening to us while she's driving. I don't know. Sometimes she does. If you're out there listening to me at Cody Wendy, Aki Emmanuel is trying to get a hold of you. Aki Christopher, you said that I have a daughter that listens to you like I do, and one of my sons will talk to me about your broadcast, but some of my other family members are kind of on the fence with what you teach. I can imagine so. Yeah. Is there anything that you want to share about that with what you just shared with us? And that was Aki Christopher. Yes. Not to be mistaken with Aki Chris Yahoo. So I'll make sure to keep it separate. Aki Christopher and Aki Chris Yahoo. Is tradition wrapped up with the loyalty to mom with the way she was brought up? And oh, I see. Yes, yes. You know, Aki Christopher, if I had my uncle sitting next to me and I was having a conversation with him, many of you would be able to relate the way our family members react to us when it comes to this truth. I got family members who are diehard Extians. Diehard, okay? I'm not talking about people who just identify as Extians. I'm talking about people who go to practically every service that their pagan temples are going to have. They'll be there Wednesday. They'll be there Sunday. They're going to be there for their Jubilee celebration or their reunions and all of that other stuff. And they're the hardest ones to get to see the truth. They're the hardest ones. And why are they the hardest ones? Because they are religious fanatics, just like the Pharisees and Sadducees. If you realized, very few of the Pharisees and Sadducees have come to this truth. Nicodemus, Joseph of Arimathea, those are the only two that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure there were some other ones, but very few of leadership or those who are indoctrinated, they have a hard time. And that's just not only Christianity, that's Islam, that's Buddhism, that's all these other isms and religions that are out there. If they're a fanatic about their belief system, they are the hardest ones. And that's my understanding of, you cannot pour new wine into old wineskin. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskin. Excuse me. My throat's been tickling since yesterday. Okay. Cody Victoria, you said, my parents and my son and his wife are super extions. They're not regular, they're super extions. Yes. It's super hard to talk to them, but it's also hard from my other children. They don't believe in anything. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, that is difficult. You know, like I was saying, Cody Victoria, it's a different matter when you're talking about your significant other or your children, you know, because you just want them to listen to you. I'm your mom. I know what's best. Listen to what I'm saying and do it. You know, when they were little, we could tell them that and they would do it. Now, once they get to a certain age, you can't tell them nothing. Just like when we was at that age, you know, my dad, he couldn't tell me nothing. I had to find out the hard way. I was part of that school of hard knocks. I had to go out there and learn it the hard way. Cody Janine, you said that same with my mom. My children don't believe in anything, and my mom is a super extra. With the cape on and everything, huh? Dun, dun, dun. I'm a super extra with a cross on their chest. Aki Christopher, she will ask questions and even Palah and use the name of Yahuwah and Yahusha and the Ruach HaKodesh, but she will never waver, also because my mother-in-law lives with us and she is a staunch extra. Yeah. And you know, but here's the beauty of it, right? Here's the beauty of it. You are a witness. We are all witnesses to those of our family members that are super and staunch extions. Yeah. Because when they see that their belief system is breaking down, remember what we were talking about. Just like it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 17, Abba Yahuwah has put it into the hearts of these kings to destroy her, to eat her flesh. People don't know that that's talking about Christianity. The day is numbered for Christianity. It is going to be obliterated. They're not going to see no pre-tribulation rapture. They're going to be looking at the anti-Messiah. And in some ways, I believe they're going to be so fooled, or they're going to have a situation to where they have a dilemma. Take the mark or don't eat, don't work, you know. And because many of them have loved the way of Americana or Western civilization, they're going to take the mark. People can say all day long, I'm not taking it, I'm not taking it. Okay, that's what you're saying right now. But wait until it happens. Wait till you get a little bit of that sting of hunger. Wait until you feel and you see it's like right there. You're looking at other people just tempting yourself. Oh man, I wish I could take a hot shower again and lay in my soft bed and have all the creature comforts of my home and sitting in my Tesla and all this other mess that people are dealing with today that they find so wonderful. Talking a great game out of their mouth, how they're gonna stand strong when the mark comes. Look at Kappa, look at Peter. And you ain't even dealing with nothing that Peter was dealing with. Peter was literally looking at the Messiah, who he saw do all these wonderful, amazing miracles. And he sees him being taken away by the Sanhedrin. He was talking all that stuff. Oh, they're not going to unalive you. They're going to have to unalive me first, master. I'm not going to let them take you over my dead body, pretty much is what Kappa was saying, Peter was saying. And Yahusha, under the inspiration of the Ruach, prophesying to him and saying, you're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster crows. You're going to deny me 3 times, Kappa. Here is a man, keeping it real. Here was a man who physically walked with our Messiah. He saw him and heard him, witnessed him even change right before his very eyes in Matthew chapter 17, I believe it is. Remember where it says the Messiah took Peter, James, and John to a high mountain after 6 days, and it says that he changed before them, he transformed before them, and it says that his face shined like the sun and all of his clothing was like this bright light. He saw all of that. He walked on the water. He did all of that, and yet he denied him 3 times. You want to tell me that fear is not a situation that is real? All these people can talk all the game that they want. Talk about how they're not going to take the mark and talking about not me, oh, this and that, da, 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 da. Even if the rapture is not true and I'm here during the tribulation, I'm not taking the mark. Okay. We're going to see. We're going to find out. All of us are about to find out because it's knocking at the door. It's literally knocking at the door. Aki Robin, you said that you guys are now finally living off grid in a small community. Wow, that is Yappa, Aki. I'm hoping, Abba Yahuwah willing, we're going to be doing the same here pretty soon. I don't want something that is stressful to make me have to do that, or to make us to have to do that, like yourself, Aki Robin, and those that are with you there in that small community. And for the rest of you, some of you who have already made that jump, who have left these cities and towns and villages, and you're out on the outskirts, you're already ahead of the game. Those of you who are getting ready to get lambs and goats and chickens and got you some acres, have a way of eating and drinking water, and you're not connected and tied to the municipalities of your county or city or state. We are too dependable on the governments that be. This is a crux. This is a thorn in the side, if you will. It's a handicap. Because when things go wrong, just like dialing 911, we're looking towards the government. We're going to be watching CNN. People who don't like watching the news, all of a sudden when everything goes awry, they want to turn on the news now and they want to see, well, what are they going to do about this situation? How come they're letting this happen? Why is all of this going on? Oh, now you want to be knowing what's going on about the current events, but you wasn't looking at it before. You could have seen and seen all this stuff getting ready to go down, and you could have hid yourself so that you would have been out of the way so this would not come upon you. But many of us, we wait till the very last minute, right? A lot of us are, what do they call it? Procrastinators. We are procrastinators. Let me raise my hand. Procrastinators at its finest. Yes, Aki Stephen. Hallelujah. Yahuwah. Like I said, we're going to be going through the process, Abba Yahuwah willing, that we will be going through the process here pretty soon. I'm going to have to ratchet it up a little bit more to the Akis and the Akodis that I've been talking to about this, kind of threw it in their ear, but we're going to revisit this because I do believe that that's what Abba Yahuwah wants. And there's been people that have been coming to me about it and saying, hey, what do you think about getting some property that we can all, dwell there, live this word all the way through. We're a community of our own and helping out each other. Yeah, I see it happening, and I do believe if it's Abba Yahuwah's will, he's going to make it happen. He's going to make it happen. Mm-hmm. But like I said, the property, if it be his will for us to do so, he's going to open doors that no man can shut. He's going to open doors. Well, I wouldn't say it here, Aki Krilitos. What would be a great place to buy? The only thing that I can say is And I'm keeping it general, like I said earlier, out of the cities, towns, and villages. The further you can be away from the city, towns, and villages, the better you're going to be off. If you can get out of the country and you got to be careful where you're going there too, because you got to remember the beast system. We're talking about the physical beast system is going to be everywhere on the earth. There is not a place that the tentacles of the beast system is not going to reach. Okay. The tentacles of the beast system is only going to be in urban areas where they have it connected. If you're out in the wilderness, there is no connection there. As I was saying before, if you think about this, we know that the all-seeing eye is not all-seeing. Okay? That's what Shaitan wants. He wants to be like the Most High. He wants to be able to be ever-present, and he cannot. He needs the aid of technology to do so, hence the AI data centers, okay? And the connecting of Elon Musk's Skynet that he's put all over the earth. But just to give you some scenarios of how we know that they're not able to see everything, even with the United Snakes and all of its technological advancement, they can't even find sheep herders in the middle of the desert unless somebody gives them information. They're not using, like you be seeing in some of these movies, they're using these satellites that they're positioning these satellites. Yeah, coordinates such and such and such and such. That's where they're at. They still need intel. Somebody has to give them the info. Okay? So when you go out into that wilderness, if you don't have any digital stuff with you, you don't have anything that connects you to online, they won't be able to find you. They won't be able to find you unless you do something like, you're lighting fires in the middle of the night and they're using whatever and they're scanning the areas. But soon as you hear one of them drones, you better go hiding. You better put out whatever it is you got, and you best to flee wherever that camp is, because if you stay there, you're gonna see some peoples coming, or if you or some cyborgs or something. Something's coming. You can't stay there. Yep, exactly. Peace be still. Abba Yahuwah is going to be the one who's going to direct us. And again, keeping it 100, just like we read, and none of you have ever heard me say that once you leave that pavement, that everything's going to be hunky-dory, because that's not what it says in the word. It says that some of us who have understanding, we too shall be caught. We too shall stumble, meaning being unalived. But it's to purge us. It's to cleanse us. It's to make us white, pure, clean, removing the dross. Think of all those that came before us, all the Naba'ims, the prophets. What did they do wrong? Nothing. They were just speaking the truth. And what happened to them? They were unalived. Everybody who wants to talk this game about, oh, everything's hunky-dory, you come into this belief system, Christianity. Oh, he's going to bless you beyond all your understanding. You're going to be healed. You ain't going to have no illness. All your kids are going to be fine. You're going to have a beautiful big house and a white picket fence, and you're going to have Teslas, and you're going to have this, and you're going to have that. You're going to have a second home. You're going to have a summer home. You're going to have a winter retreat. You're going to have all this stuff when you come into Christianity. But that's not the truth. Satan will give you all of that if you follow his doctrine, yeah. But that is not the truth. So if they persecuted the head, they're going to persecute the body as well. This is why it says that the anti-Messiah, he's going to have his way with the saints. He's going to wear out the saints. That's what it says in the book of Revelation and in the book of Daniel. He shall wear out the Kadashim, the Talmudim, the set apart ones. He's going to wear us out. But doing all that wearing out that he's going to do, we're going to stay loyal to Abba Yahuwah. We're going to stay loyal to the commandments that he has given us. Mm-hmm. Fanny Smith, what about the people that have devices in the body? Can it be detected? So, Fanny, you're going to have to give me, what do you mean? What kind of devices? Are you talking about like pacemakers and stuff like that? Is that what you're talking about? Cody Mary, you're just, that's just being real. Mm-hmm. Simone, what's not just Christianity? What are you talking about? Miranda has an unspoken pull request. Okay. It's almost time for the Arab Palal, so we'll put that together. So yeah, so you're talking about stuff like a lot of the medical technology that is in people's bodies. I'm not quite sure. I know some of these things that they're making now have connections with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I mean, if a person has any of that stuff, yeah, probably so. They'll probably be able to locate them. But then again, you know, if they're doing something, who's to say that Abba Yahuwah won't discontinue those things and heal them, and those pacemakers or defibrillators or whatever they may have on them stop working? That could be a possibility. I don't know, but you know, hopefully that these people who have these things, they're believers. The problem with a lot of those things is say if we have a EMP attack, those things are probably going to be shut down, and they're probably going to end up being unalive because the pacemaker will stop working. People don't have Faraday cages on their pacemakers, at least not to my knowledge. That's not to say that they haven't. Oh, okay, Simone. Yes, all religions are selling the American dream thing. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. So, if we take the religions of this earth, okay, unlike Christianity, so I'm thinking of like the big ones, right? Like Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, you know, these, or Buddhism, Buddhism. Um, do they intermingle the American dream with their religious belief? Yes, but at the same time, no. And what I mean by that is because unlike Christianity, a lot of these other belief systems, they have a history, a culture that is connected to those religions. Just like Christianity has a culture that is connected to Christianity. The American dream is a Christian ideology. Okay, it's not a Buddhist ideology. It's not a Muslim ideology. It is a Christian one. And this is why you find it in Americana. So, what I was talking about as far as the way this world sells it, it is a Christian thing, what they do, that you don't find in any other religion. And this is why Christianity is the tare. It is the tare that lives amongst the wheat, that looks like it's the true doctrine, and it's not. Buddhism, we know it's not true. Islam, we know it's not true. Okay? They're not coming out of the book that we come out of. But they're using that same book, and at the same time, they're giving you a big house and a picket fence and have your cross on the lawn. That's not religion. That's not the other religions. That is specifically to Christianity and Christianity alone, because Americana is Christian. So let me show you some of this, right? Like right here. So I got all this food here for the rainy day, right? All that is for rainy days, right? A whole bunch of it there, yeah? You can't see all of it. That's in the closet, but it's rice upon rice upon rice. You can see it stacked all the way up, those black buckets, all rice. And it goes back. I mean, it's deep, okay? Because we some rice-eating folks here, and, we got that Asian side of us. We love us some rice, right? But even if I don't use it, my family members, they know it's here. Those who don't believe as I believe, they know. Some of them don't live too far away from me. They can walk over here. It might take them an hour or two to get here, but they can get here. They can help themselves to some rice. But again, we don't put our trust in those things that we're able to get. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do any prepping. I think it's just normal to prep, because you just never know. It might be an earthquake. It doesn't even have to be the stuff that we're reading about in Matthew 24, Mark chapter 13, Luke chapter 21, the book of Revelation, the book of Daniel. It just might be something that happens in your neck of the woods. You just want to be prepared for anything, if at all possible, for you and your family. Aki Derek, Shabbat Shalom, Ak. Where do you buy your rice, Ak? So here in Vegas, we have Asian stores, Asian grocery stores. That's where we normally buy a lot of our rice. Like, we don't buy too much of the American rice. I mean, some of, Walmart, they might sell some Asian brands in there, but we rather go to the Asian store to get it. And some of them are like 50-pound bags, 60-pound bags. And there's different types of grains of rice. You got the long grain, short grain. I personally like the black rice, very nutritious, that has not been processed. So pretty much anything that's been bleached, like white rice, white flour, anything that's bleached is like white bread. I try to stay away from that stuff, and plus it gives me a headache. Yes, for Fernando, that's what my Shah likes. She likes jasmine rice. Yeah. And here's the thing. Oh yes, kimchi. Gotta have some kimchi. Doesn't Yahuwah gather us all up and bring us to the wilderness? I was just talking about that, right? Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this, Hezekiah. Let me read your comment or question, or both. Doesn't Yahuwah gather us all up and bring us to the wilderness? Question mark. Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 7 and 11. Will someone please read this? I am literally giving Yahuwah's word here. Okay. So, yes, you are giving us a passage, and we're going to read it. Okay. Let's go to Yirmiyahu. I'm actually in Yirmiyahu right now. So let's go to chapter 31, verse 7 to 11. 31 verses 7 to 11 reads this. And then I'm going to answer your question there, Hakmoni, Hezekiah. Okay, so, and of course I'm going to use the word to do it. So chapter 31, Yirmiyahu, okay, chapter 31, starting at verse 7. Yep. Okay, 7 to 11. 7:11. For thus says, for thus said Yahuwah, sing with gladness for Yaqub and shout among the chiefs of the nations. Cry out and give praise and say, O Yahuwah, save your people, the remnant of Yasharal. See, I am bringing them from the land of the north, and shall gather them from the ends of the earth, among them the blind and the lame, and those with child and those in labor, together a great assembly returning here. With weeping they shall come, and with their prayers I bring them. I shall make them walk by rivers of waters in a straight way, in that they do not stumble. For I shall be a father to Yashraal, and Ephraim, he is my firstborn. Hear the word of Yahuwah, O nations, and declare it into the isles or the islands afar off, and say, he who scattered Yashraal gathers him, and shall guard him as a shepherd his flock. For Yahuwah shall ransom Yaqub and redeem him from the hand of one stronger than he. Okay, so that was 7 to 11. Now, to answer your question, Hezekiah, let's look at this. Notice what he says here. He says, cry out and give praise and say, O Yahuwah, save your people, the remnant of Yasharal. Notice what he says. See, I am bringing them from the land of the north, and shall gather them from the ends of the earth. When does this happen? Where are we told that this happens? What does the Messiah say? Okay, let's go. Matthew chapter 24. Let's do this. First, I'm going to show you where he gathers us, okay? Matthew chapter 24, it says this, verse 31. And he shall send his messengers with the great sound of a trumpet, and they, the angels, shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from the ends of the heavens to the other. Now, when does this happen? Let's go up a couple of verses. Immediately after the distress or the tribulation of those days, when the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from the heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear in the heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds of the heaven with power and much esteem. And then we read this, verse 31. So to go back to Jeremiah chapter 31. Okay, and let me catch up with all of you here. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 8, he says, I am bringing them from the land of the north, and shall gather them from the ends of the earth, among the blind and the lame, and with child, and those in labor, together a great assembly returning here. Returning where? To the promises of our fathers, the land that he has given to our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's always been the promise all throughout the scriptures, that we are going to be returning back to our place, the land of our forefathers, right? But here's the problem, because this new teaching of the second Exodus, it's new. It's new. There is no gathering of his people before he says he's going to gather his people, which is going to happen immediately after the distress or the tribulation of those days. There is nothing before that. And this is why we're told all throughout the book, even the book of Revelation, when we go here to chapter 12, they like to use this also, and I don't know if you use this as well, Hezekiah, about where this woman is going to flee into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared for her by YAHUAH ALAHYM to be nourished there for 1,260 days. Okay, this right here has nothing to do with the second Exodus. This has to do with the promise to the first fruits. Who are the first fruits? The 144,000. We were just talking about them. If you read here in chapter 14, notice what it says here. And I heard the voice, let me back up. 14 verse 1. And I looked and saw a lamb. Notice the word lamb is capitalized, so we know which lamb this is. This is the lamb that we read about in Revelation chapter 5, the one that was able to open up the seals. No one else was able to open up the seals but the lion from the tribe of Judah, right? The lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world, the one that had the 7 eyes and the 7 horns. He was found worthy to open up the scrolls of him who sits on the throne. This same lamb, because we know our Messiah isn't a physical seven-eyed, seven-horned lamb. This is metaphorical speech, symbolic speech of the Messiah, who has been given the deed to the earth to once again take it from Shaitan, who Adam gave it to in the garden when he fell along with his wife. The 144,000 are found with the Lamb standing on Mount Zion. Well, this Mount Zion is not the earthly Mount Zion, and you're going to see here, it says, and with him the 144,000 having his Father's name written upon their foreheads. And I heard a voice out of the Shama, out of the heaven, like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder, and I heard the sound of the harpists playing their harps. And they, that is the 144,000, they sang a renewed song before the throne and before the four living beings and before the elders, the 24 elders. And no one was able to learn the song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth, meaning that these people are going to be alive when this occurs. They're going to be redeemed off the earth. Okay? And they are those, the 144,000, who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. This has nothing to do with them physically never having sexual intimacy. This has everything to do with them not, let me say that again, that they did not have spiritual adultery with other religions. Okay? Meaning that they didn't believe any other doctrine but the only true doctrine that was given to us by the Father. They kept themselves pure. They came out of her, as he says in Revelation 18, verse 4. Come out of her. Come out of the harlot, my people. They are virgins. They are clean. They are pure. So this has to do with religious institution. This has nothing to do with them being virgins physically. This has everything to do with them not playing the harlot. Okay? They, the 144,000, are those following the Lamb wherever he leads them on. Just like it says in John chapter 10, verse 27. What does it say in John chapter 10, verse 27? Let me take you there. John chapter 10, verse 27 says this. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Go back here. These are those who follow the Lamb wherever he leads them on. They were, there's that word again, redeemed from among men, meaning that they were alive at the time that they were snatched away, being first fruits, tithing, if you will, the 10%, if you will, to YAHUAH ALAHYM and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no falsehood, meaning that they did not teach or preach any lies. They didn't even use the false names of JC and LORD and GOD. They cleansed their whole vocabulary. They were blameless before the throne of YAHUAH ALAHYM. They are the only ones. They are the only ones that has been promised that they shall be kept from the hour of trial that shall come upon the whole world, because they are the assembly of Philadelphia. The 144,000 is the assembly of Philadelphia. I know your works, verse 8, chapter 3 of Revelation. See, I have set before you an open door, and no one is able to shut it, that you have little power, and yet have guarded my word, and have not denied his name, Yahusha. See, I am giving up those of the congregation of Satan who say that they are Yahudim, those people over there, the Ish people, and they are not, but lie. They know they're lying, not all of them. I would have to say they're leaders. They're leaders. They know that they're lying. They know they ain't the people. See, I am making them come and worship before your feet. When is that going to happen? That's going to happen on Judgment Day. And to know that I have loved you. So he's going to set it straight for all of humanity. All right, he's going to let them see, these are my people. All of these who have obeyed and trusted in me, these are my people. This is Israel. Not these people who don't believe in the Messiah, not these people who are not keeping the commandments, not these people who have stolen the identity, not these people. Because you have guarded my word of endurance, I also shall guard you from the hour of trial that shall come upon all the world to try those who dwell on the earth. This is the 144,000. That's why they were given the wings of an eagle, and they were taken to a place that was prepared for them for time, times, and half a time, or 1,260 days. Where were they taken to? Revelation chapter 14. They were standing on Mount Zion, and this Mount Zion is not on this earth. They were redeemed from the earth. They were taken from among men, being first fruits unto YAHUAH ALAHYM and to the Lamb. These are the only ones that is going to flee from this time. Everybody else, we going through the Great Tribulation, and we are not getting gathered, just like it says in Ezekiel. Go to Ezekiel, the so-called dry bones prophecy. Notice what it says here. When does this occur? This is the resurrection. It says here, and he said to me, prophesy to these bones, and you shall say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of Yahuwah. Thus said the Master Yahuwah to these bones, see, I am bringing into you a spirit, and you shall live. This is talking about the resurrection. And I shall put sinew on you and bring flesh upon you, is giving us exactly the play-by-play what's going to happen when our bodies come up out of the grave, and cover you with skin and put a spirit in you. This is the resurrection. And you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. And I, Yasakal, Ezekiel, prophesied as I was commanded. And as I prophesied, there was a noise and there was a rattling, and the bones came together, bone to bone. And I looked and saw sinew and flesh came upon them, and skin covered them, but there was no spirit in them. Then he said to me, prophesy to the spirit, prophesy, son of Adam, and you shall say to the Ruach, to the spirit, thus said the Master Yahuwah, come from the four winds, O spirit, and breathe on these unalived ones. Breathe on these unalived ones so that they live. Again, resurrection. And I prophesied as he commanded me. But notice, let me go back here. Notice it says, come from the four winds. What did he say? What did he say in Matthew chapter 24? Matthew chapter 24. And he shall send his messengers with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the what? The four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. What does it say here? Thus said the Master Yahuwah, chapter 9, verse 38, or 37, excuse me. Come from the four winds, O Ruach, and breathe on these unalived ones, meaning that they're in the grave, so that they live. What does this passage here say about that in Matthew 24? And he shall send his messengers with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. What does Shaul say about this in 1 Corinthians chapter 15? Verse 51. See, I speak a secret, a mystery to you. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. What did he say over here? What is he going to do? And he shall send his messengers with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds. Go back here to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. What does he say about this last trumpet? For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Back to Ezekiel chapter 37 about the dry bones prophecy. Again, thus said the Master Yahuwah, come from the four winds, O Spirit, and breathe on these unalived ones, so that they live. And I prophesied as he had commanded me, and the Spirit came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, a very great army. And he said to me, son of Adam, these are the bones of all the house of Yasharal, not these fake Jewish people. See, they say, our bones are dry, our expectancy has perished, and we ourselves have been cut off. Therefore prophesy, you shall say to them, thus said the Master Yahuwah, see, O my people, I am opening your burial sites. I am opening your graves, and shall bring you up from your burial sites, from your graves, and shall bring you into the land of Yasharal. Isn't this what you just asked me, Hezekiah? That he is going to bring his people back in Jeremiah chapter 31? Yes, he is. From the north country and from the four winds of the earth, he is going to bring us back to the land that has been promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But it doesn't happen until at the last trumpet. When the last trumpet occurs, then we shall be gathered. Then we shall be gathered. There is no gathering before that. There is none. And so it goes on and says this, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah when I open up your graves, your burial site, my people, and bring you up from your burial sites, and I shall put my spirit in you. And you shall live, and I shall settle you in your own land. This is when he does this. This is at the resurrection, the first resurrection. And you shall know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken and I have done it, declares Yahuwah. You ain't going to find anywhere before this. Even if you go back to Ezekiel, which people like to use in chapter 20 about the second Exodus, right? Let's look at this. Notice here where I put second Exodus for those who love to say that this is the second Exodus. Let's read this. Ezekiel chapter 20. Let's start at verse 33. He says, as I live, declares the Master Yahuwah, do not I, with a mighty hand and with the outstretched arm and with wrath poured out, reign over you? And I shall bring you out from the what? The peoples, that is the Gentile countries, and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered. This is what happened to the children of Israel because of their disobedience, as he has said, and as it is to this day, with a mighty hand and with the outstretched arm and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples, the wilderness of the peoples. Listen to that. Who are the peoples? The Gentiles. Where's the wilderness? In the countries where you have been scattered, where you have been taken into captivity. And he says, and I shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. So while we're in our captivity, which we are right now, those of you who live here in the United States of America, you're in the land of your captivity. If you're in South Africa, if you're in Australia, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in China, it doesn't matter. If you come into this truth and you know this truth, you are scattered. You are not in the land of our forefathers. The people who are in the land of our forefathers right now are not the people of the book. They are the imposters. They are the settlers. They are the 2939 48ers, the Ashkenaz. That's what they call themselves. And rightfully so, because they are from Gomer, and Gomer is from Japheth. They are the Gentiles. And they will continue to trample on Jerusalem, just like it says in Luke chapter 21, verse 24, until the times of how does it say it? And they shall be scattered all over the earth, talking about the children of Israel. And then the Gentiles will trample on Jerusalem until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. They are still there. The Gentiles. Who are the Gentiles? The Caucasians. Who are the ones that's calling themselves Jews and are not? These Caucasians who come from Poland, who come from parts of Russia, who come from parts of Ukraine. They are the ones who went down there and called themselves Israelites, or Israelis, as they like to use their name. And so you have somebody like Benjamin Netanyahu, which is not his real name. His last name is Milikowski. He's a Polish man. His DNA is Polish through and through. These people have taken on the identity of the true Israelites. But all of this occurred just like it was written in the word that was going to happen, because the true Israelites were very disobedient. And so they were put on those slave ships and they were carried to the four winds of the earth. And it's from there that they are going to be brought back to the land. And this is what we're reading about here. So he says that he is going to deal with us. He's going to deal with us face to face there. Where? In the wilderness of the peoples, in your captivity. He says, as I entered into judgment with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim, so I shall enter into judgment with you while we're in the wilderness of the Gentiles, in the land of your captivity. Yeah, ain't no second Exodus. And it goes on and says, and I shall make you pass under the rod and shall bring you into the bond of the agreement, the bond of the marriage vow, the bond of the contract. Who did he make the contract, the marriage vow, the agreement with? The house of Israel and the house of Judah. He didn't make it with the house of the Chinese. He didn't make it with the Japanese. He didn't make it with the with the Australians. He didn't make it with nobody else but Israel. He says, and I will purge out the rebels from among you. That's what's happening right now. Those who don't want to follow the commandments, those who don't want to keep and observe his Torah, they're the rebels. They are the ones who are rebelling and are not being obedient. He is going to purge them from among you, those who transgress against me. How does one transgress? It's because they're not keeping his laws. Just like we see in Christianity today. From the land where they sojourn, I bring them out. You see that? But they shall not come into the land of Yasharal, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. So again, there is no second Exodus. If you want to call anything a second Exodus, you're in it right now. When your eyes were open to the truth, you came out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, and you know who you are now. You have went through the Red Sea. You have been immersed. You've been baptized. You are to come out the other side as a new being, a new creation in the Messiah. Now you're going to walk and you're going to be tested in the wilderness of the peoples. He's going to see if you're going to stay obedient to his agreement. He's going to bring you under the bond of the agreement. And any of us who do not do it, you're not stepping foot into that land. He's going to purge all you rebels who don't want to keep the commandments, who don't want to keep the festivals, who don't want to eat clean, the dietary laws. You don't want to do any of these, who don't want to keep the Shabbat, don't want to know the true calendar. Don't worry, Abba Yahuwah has a place for you because you don't want to seek righteousness. He's got you. He's got a place for you. So Hezekiah, to answer your question, there is no second Exodus, unless you want to call what you're in right now the second Exodus, while you're in the wilderness of the peoples. So when is he going to gather us together? At the last trumpet. And what's the last trumpet? The seventh trumpet. I can show you proof on that too. You'll see that there's a resurrection there. Revelation chapter 11. Let's go there. Revelation chapter 11 is very clear about what happens at the last trumpet. The same last trumpet that is spoken of in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52, where Shaul, aka Paul, talks about how the last trumpet will be blown, and then those who are unalived in the Messiah shall be raised up, and then those of us who are alive at the time of his appearing, we shall be changed in the twinkling of an eye. This occurs at the last trumpet. The last trumpet is in the book of Revelation. It's called the seventh trumpet. Verse 15, chapter 11, it says, and the seventh messenger sounded, and there came to be loud voices in the Shama, saying, the reign or the kingdom of this world has become the kingdom of our master. Why is this being said? Because now he's taking back the deed to the earth. The lamb that was slain before the foundation of the world. This was the scroll that was in his hand. He has the right to take back the earth and all of its dominion. All of it belongs to him and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. And it says, and the 24 elders, listen to what they said, and the 24 elders sitting before YAHUAH ALAHYM on their thrones fell on their faces and worshiped YAHUAH ALAHYM, saying, we give you thanks, O Yahuwah Al Shaddai, that is the Almighty, the one who is and who was and who is coming. Yahuwah, the Father, he's the one who's coming, or is it the Son? Let you think about that for a second, for those of you who think he's two different people. Let's continue. Because you have taken your great power and reigned, and the nations were enraged, and your wrath has come, and the time, listen to this, and the time of the dead to be judged. When does this happen? The seventh trumpet. It's the last trumpet. The dead shall be raised, but not all the dead, to give the reward to your servants. They're the ones who are going to be judged. And the prophets and the saints, the set apart ones. It's time for them to what? To those who fear your name, small and great, to destroy those who destroy the earth. Why are they being resurrected? To give the reward to your servants. They're about to get eternal life. That's the reward for being faithful. This is the last trumpet. This is what Paul was talking about in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52, about at the sounding of the last trumpet. There are 7 trumpets, and the last trumpet is talking about a resurrection. Right here, time of the dead to be judged. The dead cannot be judged unless they're resurrected. Brother Reuben, you said somewhere it says that there will be a greater exodus. Yeah, bring it up for me if you can find it, please. And we'll read it. I know sometimes I kind of go through this kind of fast, and I apologize. I had someone share with me. It was like, you're moving too fast. I had to leave, and I apologize. But this is why this is being recorded, so you can always go back and take it at your pace. Okay, Hezekiah, yes, you're very welcome. I'll be looking forward to your email. Hopefully I will see it, okay? Because I don't, like I said, I was showing earlier, I think I have like, what was it, 4,000 something? I can't remember. I got a lot of emails. Okay, Aki Nick Davis. You can rewind right now as you watch. Yep, that's right. Yeah, and you know, I apologize sometimes when I'm not being mindful of how fast I'm speaking or how fast I'm going from one passage to the other. I think that happens because I'm not truly being mindful of those that are listening, and I apologize for that. So please go back and rewatch if you are interested to get those passages that I talked about and look at those passages yourself. Because again, I have studied out the second Exodus understanding, and it's nothing but a repackaged Hebrew Israelite rapture, if you will. Instead of going up into the heaven, you're going out into the wilderness as a collective group where everyone's going to get gathered together, right? You're very welcome, Makoti Mandalove. Jeremiah chapter 16. Okay, I think we were just there, right? Well, I think we was in 31, but let's go to Jeremiah chapter 16. Jeremiah chapter 16. And exactly where in Jeremiah chapter 16 am I reading from? Queen. What part of Yirmiyahu chapter 16? Reuben, you're saying 14 to 18? Okay, 14 to 18. Let's read this. Therefore, see, the days are coming, verse 14, declares Yahuwah, when it will no longer be said, Yahuwah lives who brought us out. Yep, and I was talking about this earlier. Who brought up the children of Yasharah from the land of Mitzrayim. But this is what they're going to say this time. Yahuwah lives who brought up the children of Yasharah from the land of the north and from all the lands where he had driven them. For I shall bring them back into their land I gave to their fathers. So once again, this has to do with the last trumpet. This has to do immediately after the tribulation of those days. There's no two gatherings. There's only one gathering, and that one gathering is going to be, as I showed you in Matthew 24, it happens immediately after the tribulation of those days when he does this, okay? Everything must be upon precept. We can't just make a doctrine out of something. Look what it says here, okay? Again, and he shall send his messengers with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Notice this. He's going to gather them together. Why does he have to gather them? Because if you look here, actually, we have to take the same story from the account of Lucas, Luke chapter 21. In Luke's version, chapter 21, it says this. Verse 24, and they, meaning the children of Yasharal, shall fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations. That's the dispersion. That's being led to all nations. Where it says here in Jeremiah, but as Yahuwah lives, who brought up the children of Yasharal from the land of the north and from all the lands where he had driven them. For I shall bring them back. I shall bring them back into their land that I gave their fathers. Okay. So again, they were driven away. They were led away captive into all nations. So when are they going to come back? If you continue to read all of this, they don't come back until immediately after the tribulation of those days when he comes back. This is when he's going to gather his people. Okay. In this account here in Luke chapter 21, it doesn't talk about the regathering, but it's talking about the same event. Okay. The only part that it says here of anything as far as them being gathered together is verse 28. If I go here and I start reading from verse 25, and there shall be signs in the sun, just like we read in Matthew 24, and moon and the stars and the earth, in anxiety of nations, in bewilderment at the roaring of the seas and agitation, men fainting from fear and the expectation of what is coming on the earth. For the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and they shall see the son of Adam coming in a cloud with power and much esteem. And when these matters begin to take place, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. This is when he's going to gather his people. Okay. This is the same part in Matthew 24 that we was reading, that is talked about the sun, moon, and the stars not giving its light. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, or distress of those days, verse 29, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give its light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. What do we read here in Luke chapter 21? Verse 26, and men's hearts shall be men's fainting from fear, and the expectation of what is coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then they shall see the Son of Adam coming in the cloud with power and much esteem. Going back here to Matthew chapter 24, the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and then the sign of the Son of Adam shall appear in the heaven, and then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Adam coming on the clouds of the heavens with power and much esteem. And he shall send his messengers, his angels. This is how he's going to gather us. With a great sound of a trumpet, the last trumpet, the seventh trumpet that we just read in Revelation chapter 11. And they shall gather together. Who's they? The Malachim, the angels. The angels are going to gather us together, his chosen ones, the elect, the Kadashim, the Talmudim, from the four winds, where he has scattered us from one end of the heavens to the other. So this goes in line with Jeremiah chapter 16. For I shall bring them back into their land I have given to their fathers. So again, no greater exodus, no second exodus, if you will. This is the gathering. This is not an exodus. This is not coming out of Egypt. The coming out of Egypt is happening individually with all of us right now. Because when he comes, we're going straight into the promised land. There is no wilderness experience. When he cracks that sky, we are going into the land that has been given and has been promised to our fathers. There is no wilderness experience at that point. And again, and I know that's that is a teaching that has been so popularized, not only by Truth Unedited. There's other ones. There's a we got to get ready to pull off. There's another ministry out there called, that's literally called the second Exodus. So let us continue, but I'm gonna pull because it is that time of the evening prayer here on the West Coast. You should be able to see. Let me see if I can blow that up. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, you can see how it's kind of pink out there behind the mountains. So that's the sun back there. So let us pull. I'm going to turn off the chat while we're playing. I'm trying to say Palah and pray at the same time, and it came out as playing. I apologize. Let us Palah. Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, to the Atah, for the time of the Arab Palah, the evening prayer. Abba, we thank you for your word. We thank you for opening up the understanding of our minds to your word, O Abba, that we may not be led astray. For there are so many teachings and doctrines out there, O Abba. And we know that you have said through the Nabaim, through the prophets that came before us, that there will be many that'll come and lead many of us astray with their lying tongues. Shepherds that you did not give us. People who have made themselves and accounted themselves to be leaders and teachers. Abba, help us, those who come to know this truth, that you would keep us humble, that you would keep us to be teachable, to have that teachable ruach, that you may teach us, O Yah, in these last days and times, that we may not be led astray, knowing that it is very important to heed your instructions so that we may not be taken. Help us, O Yah, to do your will. In this time that you have allowed us to live, we ask, O Yah, that you would prepare your people, that we will not be afraid, we will not be fearful. As you have said, let us not fear those who can only unalive the body, but cannot unalive the body and the being, but to fear you, who is able to do both. Help us, O Abba, to not have that fear of what man may be able to do to us, what the enemy, Hashatan, wants to do to us. We ask that you would keep us in your hedge of protection and keep him far from us, O Abba. We Palah for our friends and our family, that we uplift before you, Abba, who don't know what we know, who don't see what we see, because you have opened up our eyes and you have not opened up theirs as of yet. We Palah that it is your will, that it is your plan, that you would open up their eyes to this truth. We see of where we are at this time in your timeline, O Abba. Help us to stay strong in your word. Help us to stay on the straight and narrow path. Help us, O Abba, not to fall to the left or to the right. This we bring before you, as we ask that you forgive us for all of our transgressions that we've committed before your sight. All this we ask in the mighty name of your Bane, in the mighty name of your Son, Yahusha Ha'Mashyach, Yahusha, the Messiah. Hallelujah Yahuwah, Hallelujah Yahuwah, and Hallelujah Yahuwah Amat. Rumamu Yahuwah. The word Rumamu, for those of you who don't know, is exalt, or to esteem, to uplift Yahuwah. All right, back on with the chat. So again, I know that the second Exodus is a very popular teaching that's going on right now, but honestly, everything that I'm showing and sharing with you speaks against this popular second Exodus scenario. And if you have other ones that you want us to look at, we can go in and look at them as well, because what we don't want to do is not to unturn any rock, right? We want to make sure we unturn every rock when it comes to certain things that we're talking about. Am I high 3-ver? I turn it off when we're praying, when we're palaling. I turn off the chat because people like to continue to put down comments when we should have all of our attention on speaking to the Father. So that's why we turned it off. Sometimes I forget, but when it's on my mind and readily in my mind, I turn it off. And then I can turn it back on and you can share whatever it is that you want to share. It's just one of our rules here, to bring everybody in agreement when we come together to Palal. We shouldn't be distracted. So any other questions, be it about the second Exodus or anything else? We got, usually this is about the time that I'm off because it's getting pretty late on the East Coast. So we'll go another 30 minutes and then we'll call it a day. Do we get stay in our own homes in the country, or do we need to go to a forest or somewhere else? Because I only live 5 miles from a small town. So Hezekiah, as I was sharing earlier, when you see the abomination of desolation as is spoken of by Daniel the prophet, as we read in Matthew chapter 24, let me go there. Oh, Mahiver, you didn't hear a Palal? It might be, maybe your volume was down. I don't know. But I was Palaling. I think all of you heard me Palal, right? So Matthew 24, where it talks about here in verse, verse 15. So when you see the abomination that lays waste, some of your translations will say, when you see the abomination that causes desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, set up in the set apart place, okay? You can read this in different ways. What I mean by different ways is the setting up. We know there's something that's being set up or built up in the set apart place. Some people call the set apart place the temple. I personally see this as the set apart place being the ground. Remember what he told Masha, right? Let's go to Exodus. Exodus chapter 3. Exodus chapter 3. It says here, and Masha, verse 1, was shepherding the flock of Yithro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the back of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of YAHUAH ALAHYM. And the messenger of Yahuwah, the angel of Yahuwah, appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. And he looked and saw the bush burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. And Masha said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn. And Yahuwah saw that he turned aside to see, and YAHUAH ALAHYM called him from the midst of the bush and said, Masha, Masha. And he said, here I am. He says, do not come here, do not come near here. Take off the sandals off your feet, for the place on that you are standing is set apart ground. You see that? Is set apart. Why do I bring this up? Because here in Matthew chapter 24, verse 15, it's talking about something being set up in the set apart place. This set apart place, I believe particularly, is not the building, but the land that the building is going to be erected upon. Okay? Why? Because Yahuwah did not sanction anyone to build another temple after the second temple was destroyed, and rightfully so, because there was no need for that Mishkan anymore. There was no need for the temple, the Hakal anymore. Why? Because he now dwells in the hearts of men, that is not fabricated or built by the hands of man. We are the third temple. So when this abomination that is set up, that is going to be torn down, when it is erected, he who reads, let him understand. Then let those who are in Yehuda, who are literally physically there in Jerusalem, they are to flee to the mountains. And then this is for all the rest of us. Let him who is on the housetop not come down to take whatever out of his house. Meaning that if you're out doing whatever around your house, this is going to happen so fast that you won't have time to pack up and get your bug out bag and go. You got to flee. It's a moment's notice. You got to go. You got to get out of town. You got to go. And let him who is in the field, meaning your job, your place of work, not turn back to get their garments. Don't go back home to go get your bug out bag. If you don't have it with you, don't go back home to go get it, because you're probably going to get caught up into whatever it is, and which I believe is probably going to be martial law. It's going to be a lockdown, just like it was during the time of COVID. Okay, everybody's got to stay hunkered up in their houses. You know, this so-called quarantine. He says, and woe to those who are pregnant and to those who are nursing children in those days. What days? The days of the tribulation. And Paul prayed that your flight, your escape, your fleeing does not take place in the winter or on the Sabbath, which lets us know we're still supposed to keep the Sabbath. He's not talking to the people who are Jewish. He's talking to the people who are keeping commandment. That's who he's talking to. If you're keeping the commandments, you're going to be resting on the Sabbath. And when you're resting on the Sabbath, like we are right now, I'm not watching the news. I don't know if there's being bombs that are being volleyed back and forth between Iran and whatever's going on in the Middle East, because my mind is focused here. My mind is here right now. My mind is talking to the Mishpachah and talking about the truth. For then there shall be great distress. Some of your translations will say, for then there shall be great tribulation, such has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And if those days were not shortened, what days? The great tribulation. If it wasn't shortened, no one, no flesh would be saved. But for the sake of the chosen ones, those days shall be shortened. Why? For us, the Kadashim, the Talmudim, aka the saints, the elect ones. Those days, the great tribulation, shall be shortened. He's going to bring it to an end early. So when you go back and you look at this, for then there shall be great distress, great tribulation, such has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. Where do we get this? Where did the Messiah say this before? Daniel chapter 12. If you go to Daniel chapter 12, you see the same words. And now at that time, what time? The great tribulation. Michael, the archangel, shall stand up, that great head, who is the prince, standing over the sons of your people. The great head, yours would say the prince that is standing over the sons of your people. And there shall be a time of great distress, a time of tribulation, such as never was since there was a nation until that time. You see that? And at that time, meaning not at that very moment when this time of distress occurs, it says, and at that time, your people shall be delivered. They shall be saved. Everyone who is found written in the book. What book? The book of life. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth wake up. Some to everlasting life, that's the first resurrection, and some to reproach and everlasting harborance, that's the second resurrection. That's after the 1,000-year period. And those who have insight shall shine like the brightness of the expanse, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. So, when do we flee? When you see the third temple, the false third temple being built. And that's what I was sharing with those of you who was here earlier. And I'll show it to you again. This is how close we are to all this stuff going down.
That the third temple is being built right now. I have some news for you. There is already the infrastructure in place to support a very rapid, and they're already putting everything in place right now. Check this out. I live in Jerusalem, and I'm going to show you right now that it is happening. And in fact, what you see here is a elevator that they are putting in to the old city in Jerusalem. It's going to look like this. They're building a whole building. It's called the Kotel elevator. They're building a whole building to take people to the Temple Mount when the temple, the third temple, is there. And so they have this whole area under construction. They've had a wall there. You can hear the jackhammering during the day. The location of this elevator is right across from none other than the Temple Institute, which has for the past 40 years been getting everything together for the third temple. So it's going to be really easy for them to just roll everything out, take it down the elevator, and take it across to the third temple platform. They already have what they need for the third temple. So I'm going to take you guys inside. And by the way, I took these videos, just FYI, and show you the inside. When you first walk in the door, you can see the priestly garments here. And these are the actual priestly garments, and they're ready to go. I think these ones are linen, and they use a special type of dye to create these colors. Special dye also used for the curtains and priestly garments, and for the tzitzits right there. And this is what the temple is going to look like. It is a floor model to scale. These are the kosher measuring vessels that they're going to use in the ceremonies. Here we have a vessel for roasting barley for the Omer offering. And in the top right, we have a gigantic hand washing station. And you can see this priest right here. It's pretty much to scale. This doesn't wake you up. I don't know what will. This is the altar. And it's to scale, it's not full size. There's a ramp where they can drag the offering up and down from, to the top. And this is modular, like it's completely prefab, and they can build it in minutes if they need to. They literally said that when we were there. The garments of the high priest, and you can see like the breastplate, the ephod with all the gemstones. There's like a little hole in the fence, like a little rectangle thing, so I put my phone in there. You can see like an archway that they like tunneled through and then did a bunch of concrete work to make this elevator. For them to be creating a transport system that's going to accommodate 3,000 people per hour in each direction, and these elevators, 30 people per trip, is crazy to me. That they're just saying it's for accessibility. If you confess with your mouth, Jesus Christ is Lord, and believe in your
If you confess with your mouth, JC is LORD. That's where we stop. Okay, Akodi Mindy. So I know your name here in my hiver. Cody Mindy, I know your name now. All right. So again, this is how close we are to all of this going down. It is getting so close. It is so close. And so when you understand what Shaul, aka Paul, the Apostle Paul, was talking about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, you realize how close we are, because this is exactly what we're told is going to occur. They're going to build this false third temple. We are the third temple. We are the third temple. Okay. And so since we are the third temple, any temple that is getting erected is an abomination. Not placing an image or an idol. The fact that they're building on that land when he did not tell them to build, because again, the first temple, he gave sanction when to build it by the hands of King Solomon. He gave him the decree. And then the second temple, he gave the decree to Ezra, Azariah, okay, and also to Nehemiah. You can read both of those letters, both of those scrolls, and you'll see where King Xerxes the Mede, I think he was a Median. Yeah, he's from Media. He was the one who gave them the right, because Abba Yahuwah put it in Xerxes' heart, to allow the children of Yehuda to return, and that was the building of the second temple. Okay, that second temple was the temple that was destroyed when the Messiah had proclaimed that every stone that you see that's upon this temple right now, not one stone shall be left upon another that shall not be thrown down. Matthew chapter 24, Mark chapter 13, Luke chapter 21. So that was the second temple destroyed by Titus Flavius, the emperor of Rome, which we were told in prophecy, Daniel chapter 9, that the people of the coming prince will destroy the temple. That was the Romans. And so the same bloodline of the Romans will be the same bloodline that will be running through the veins of this false Messiah, who's going to call himself God, and he is not. And so he's going to sit in the place that he is not supposed to, but he is going to do it because it's written. And for that to occur, they have to build this third temple. People can talk about, oh, the real Jerusalem is in Namibia, or real Jerusalem is over here in Utah. There's all kinds of craziness that people are talking right now, and it's because they're being led by these wicked demons. They're being taught the doctrines of demons. And it's leading other people astray. And you have people, you always have another one, as they would say, there's a, what do they call it? There's a, oh man, maybe it's because I'm not supposed to say the word, but anyways, you have one every day that is going to follow somebody without vetting. They're just listening to the person, and they like what they're hearing. And so they're like, oh, yeah. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. And the next thing you know, they're believing it. And now they're passing the same information to somebody else, or they're posting it and they're making a post about it. And they're like, oh, yeah, there's a second Exodus, and this is what's going to happen. And there's going to be ships. Don't ask no questions. Just get on the ships because it's taking you back to the motherland. I mean, I've heard it all. People talking all kinds of craziness. Redfoot Cabin, when it says lay waste, we know how it's going to be laid waste. Yahuwah is going to destroy it. Other translations where it says here, where it says lay waste, it says the abomination that causes desolation, or that causes destruction. Abba Yahuwah is going to destroy it. Hector Munoz, Ma'aki, you asked me this question the last time on a Shabbat. Why would you want to do your own pleasure by running out and jogging because you feel like doing it? Can it not wait till tomorrow? Why must it be done on a Shabbat? That's up to you, Aki, what you want to do with that. What does the moon have to do with the Shabbat, Hector? Cody Camry, at this point, I feel like the question is for distraction if it's been asked already and answered. You know? Well, if a person's not listening, or I guess if they're not getting what they want to hear, maybe that could happen, yeah. But I hope that we are all paying attention. Our Aki Hector, many of you need to forgive our Aki, or look past our Aki Hector. Beautiful Ak. and I say this in his presence, and he could tell you himself because he shared this with me, nothing personal. Our Aki Hector used to be a prize fighter. You can look him up. He used to fight. He was a boxer, professional boxer, champion in I can't remember what class, what weight. He can tell us here. I can't remember what class. I can't remember what division you was a champion in, Aki. But a lot of those punches have, for lack of a better words, it's damaged his brain. And so we have to be a little patient with our Ak. Light welterweight. Thank you, Aki. Thank you. You can see even on his picture icon there, you can see him with his belt, his WBC belt. So sometimes it's not registering properly with our Aki because of the damage that he has taken from a lot of the hits and stuff. You know, when you do those kind of things, just like playing football and everything else, you know, if you get hit in the wrong spot too many times, it'll start messing with your mind. So I'm just sharing that with you all because, again, this is why you may be hearing what you're hearing from our Aki. And he means well. Our Aki Hector means well. Very, very Yapa Aki. All right. Okay, Mishpaka. I think that's going to probably do it for this Yom. I'm going to go down, spend time with my Asha, with my wife. And I'm going to have to keep all of my conversations with the rest of the Mishpaka tomorrow. I will not be making no phone calls or receiving any phone calls. I'm going to break some bread. I haven't ate yet. I kind of nibbled here and there, but I do need to eat. And yeah, let us continue to walk out this walk, Mishpaka. And yeah, we do need to be patient with one another. Yeah, we're learning about each other. So it's beautiful to see some of you saying, please forgive me, I didn't know about you, Hector. And that's beautiful. That lets me know that we do have hearts here, and that's beautiful. And this is how we're to be, yes, Mishpaka. Very understanding, yeah? Clean hands, pure hearts, yes. I can tell you why you're not receiving notifications. YouTube has sent me and told me numerous times that they are not promoting my lives because of the content that I speak about. And I know it has to do with the 2939 people, okay? The Ish people, the six-pointed star people. And it's not only here on YT, this is also happening also on TikTok. The one Yameli, can you show us how to use the beads, please? So real quick before I get off, I've already updated mine for today. Okay. So this is how you should have it oriented. All right. And oriented, I mean by, let me show you this one as well. So you see how I have this line of silver here for the first month, and then another line of silver here for the second month. It's not on this side, so you can flip it and have it on this side. So I'm going to be showing it to you from the orientation from left to right and not right to left. You can do the same way from right to left as well, but just so we're all on the same page, you want to orient your calendar beads in this manner. Okay, now I have another one here. It looks like the candy corn, and you'll see here that it's set up the same way, right? Instead of the silver over here, these two lines, you have two orange lines here. Okay, so this is how you want it oriented. Now, what you're seeing here is 3 different color coordinations, all right? This one here, you see silver, you see black, and you see pink. This one here, you see the orange, you see the white, and you see the yellow. Here and here, they're the same. The only difference is the colors that are being used, but they're identical other than here. This is one of our old ones. This one is our new ones. The only difference is here you have, let me blow it up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Here you have this pink one here, which is the last Sabbath of the year, okay? And then you have the void day, and then you have the 3 days of creation. First day, second day, third day of creation. And then it starts back over on the first bead, okay? Here you have the last Shabbat, this yellow one, but you have 5 oranges here, or orange beads, I should say, and not oranges. And you have 3 silver ones here with a different color here, which represents the void day. These two represent 2 void days. Okay, this one here is the first void day. This is the second void day that we use every 4 years. That's the leap year. Okay, you use that once every 4 years. Here we go from the last Sabbath and we go directly to the 1 void day. But every 4 years we would use this tie down to signify the first void day and then the second void day, and then we start our count again. First day of creation, second day of creation, third day of creation, fourth day of creation, fifth day, sixth day, your first Sabbath. Okay, so now how do you use this? The way it is used, right now we're on the 5th month of the 23rd day of the 5th month. So how you would start using this, I mean, of course you would use it starting here, but the starting of the calendar is the spring equinox. That's what this silver bead represents. On this one here, it would be this first orange bead right here. 3 days later, Aki Al, you have your first Shabbat. 3 days later, Aki Al, over here, you have your Shabbat, represented by this pink, okay? And so every 7 days from the pink, you're going to have another pink one. Another 7 days, pink. Another 7 days, pink. Another 7 days, which will come down here. You start down at the bottom, pink. 7 days, pink. Now, the silver ones are our high days. So this first one here is the spring equinox, okay? This second one here, this is the 10th day, counting from bottom up. This would be the 10th day of the first month, and we're told on the 10th day of the first month, if we were still unaliving animals for the Passover, this would be the day that we set the male 1-year-old lamb without any spot or wrinkle to the side for the Passover, which would be the 14th day of the first month. That's this one here, okay? Now, this is the 14th day. That's the day of Passover, and we perform that in the evening, or as we do now, we celebrate it in the evening at the sunset. And then we have the first day of unleavened bread, second day of unleavened bread, third day of unleavened bread, fourth day of unleavened bread on a Shabbat, fifth day of unleavened bread, sixth day unleavened bread, seventh day, the last day of unleavened bread, okay? Then we have another Shabbat. From here to here is 7 days. 6, see that? And then the 7, 3, 3, 7. This was the other Shabbat before that, right? And then we have this one. This is the Feast of First Fruits, okay? The Feast of First Fruits comes right after that Sabbath. From here, you would start counting 7 Sabbaths, which would bring you to the Feast of Shavuot, also known as Pentecost. That's right here. This will be the 50th day from the Feast of First Fruits, okay? Now, the second month, this is the makeup Passover month. Those who couldn't perform the Passover the first month, we are told in Numbers that you have the opportunity. In the book of Numbers, we are told in the book of Numbers, those who couldn't make the first Passover, there's a redo of the second month. Everything lines up the same except the pattern. So this would be the day that you set aside the lamb. Again, we don't do this anymore, but we just acknowledge it. This is the Passover. This is the 14th day of the second month. This is the Passover. The next day is the first day of unleavened bread. Second day here, day of unleavened bread, which happens to be a Sabbath, our weekly Sabbath, because from here to here is 7 days. And then you have the fourth day, unleavened bread, fifth, sixth. Oh, wait a minute. I said that wrong. So you have 2 here. Oh, wait, this might be wrong. Baby, this one, my babe, she can hear me. We got 1 extra day here. I just found it. So you have 2 days of unleavened bread and then the Sabbath. This is the 3rd day of the unleavened bread. 4th day, 5th day, 6th day. This should be a Shabbat right here. So this, we're going to have to fix this. This is messed up. That's why this hasn't been sent out, because I haven't checked it until just now. So anyhow, today is the 5th month, 23rd day. And so we use this tie down, the 1 milli. With yours, it should look like this. The 5th strand, or the 5th month, 23rd day, just above the Shabbat. This is the last Shabbat of the 5th month. So we have 1 more Sabbath before we go into the 6th month. So today is the Sabbath. So we put the tie down just above the Sabbath to let us know this is the day that we're on. Okay. But yeah, we're going to have to fix this one. This has got 1 too many days. Gonna have to fix that. Glad that we went over it. Thank you, Akodi Demeli. Because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have even noticed. Okay, Mishpachah, it is time for me to go ahead and call it a night, a Layla. And I got to get ready for work, tomato. And I want to thank all of our first-time visitors who are here with us. Hopefully you will gather with us again next week. We come together. I come together on my live on SUN Day and MON Day, like today. So yesterday and today, I come on at the same time, which will be 1 p.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Mountain, except for Arizona, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Atlantic. Okay. And that's the same for both days, for SUN Day and MON Day. And if you want to reach me, again, I can't make any promises to you. If your email stands out and I'm able to answer you, praise Abba Yahuwah. But if I don't answer you, please don't charge it to my heart, as they would say. Hit me back. Hopefully I'll see it the next time, because I got like 4,000 something emails, and I think out of the 4,000, I probably maybe answered 300 of them. It's just too many. I mean, it's like I don't know where to begin. Like, whew, it's just too many. So I apologize for that. But yes, if you need to get a hold of me and you're trying to get my attention on that, and this is why I also like to have open mic nights. So next SUN Day on TikTok, we have our open mic night. So if you would like to talk to me on the live on TikTok, not here on YouTube, on TikTok, I go by the same handle, Ambassadors of Yah, on TikTok. And most of our SUN Day evening TikTok live casts, it's usually an open mic night. And that's when you're able to come up, ask any questions. So if you don't want to, you want to make sure that I answer your question, that would be the time to come up. Okay. So it won't be lost in the email, in the inbox. All right. So with all that being said, may Abba Yahuwah barak you. May he keep you. May he continue to allow the countenance of his light, of his face, to shine upon each and every last one of you and your mishpachah. And may he give you shalom that surpasses all understanding. I want to thank each and every one of you for spending this time on the Shabbat with the assembly. May we continue to pull off for one another. Very important. And may we continue to walk in the Spirit and not according to the flesh. For those who walk according to the Spirit, that is for life. But those who walk according to the flesh, it leads to death. So let us continue to walk in the Spirit, Mishpachah. May we be obedient to his laws, statutes, and commandments. And may we not keep company with the lost, except if you are sharing the message with them, okay? And when I say keeping company with the lost, I'm talking about hanging out, like hanging out. You know what I mean? You stick around too long, and bad company corrupts great habits, okay? So try not to stick around with people who don't follow Yahuwah, because it will rub off on you. All right, Mishpachah. My name is Jimmy, also known as Brother Jimmy, and we are ambassadors of Yah. Shalom, Mishpachah. Shabbat Shalom. Until next week, Abba Yahuwah willing. Have a Baruch Shabuah. That is, have a blessed week. In the mighty name of Yahusha. Shabbat Shalom.
Straight out of the book, the scriptures. Verses sharper than fishing hooks, snagging souls, taking tolls, leaving devils shook. Who we be? Messengers, truth bringers, that's the key. Unlocking minds, leaving darkness in debris. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Verses be thumping, shofars be blowing, beat be steady. Word power every hour, truth already. Planted deep secrets, keep fools unsteady. We elevate till your fate be ready. No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors of Yah.